One thing I've realized and what I've learned when wearing wigs or even extension hair is if you're going to wear it, treat it as if it's your own hair. Um, that's the whole point of it. It's not to go around advertising, hey, I'm wearing this fake hair. Now, the people who know you, of course, they know that you're wearing different hair from your own hair. But they also know it looks good, it looks natural. You treat it how you would treat your own hair. You want to style it, especially if it's human hair, but even synthetic hair you can style. We're going to talk about that later on in this upcoming video. But here, I shampooed my hair last night, my wig, and today I'm just blow drying it out because it was still damp, and then I curled it. But you still can apply the same styling products that you would use on your hair. That's what I do. I use serums, I use hairsprays, finishing spritz to give it shine, to keep the curls in place. Good afternoon, all my beauty professionals. Today, we're going to be talking about wigs. So, I just want to share a little bit about what I know about wigs. There's so many different ways to apply wigs. But what I want to share with you is the different hair fibers that are in wigs, consultation, how important it is. I'm going to be showing you how to put the wig on, and just one way, just a couple of ways that I know, very basic. And then when you watch this video, hopefully you learn from it and you'll build on that foundation. Um, from what I've seen on social media, there's so many talented people out there and so many ways to go about how to put a wig on. I can only show you how I use my wigs, how I apply my wigs on my head. I don't always wear wigs. Most of the time I do quick weaves because it seems to fit my style a little better in that I don't have to try to adjust my wig. Like this wig I have on, I actually had to fold it in this part of my head and sew the inner part so that it could fit my head. And I have that kind of problem with a lot of wigs that I've bought. So I have some nice wigs sitting around that I don't wear simply because they don't fit me right. They may fit around here, but then in here they puff up. And even this, even though I sewed it down, it doesn't fits me better, but it doesn't fit me perfect. But so far I've worn this wig for about, I think, 2 or 3 weeks now. I did take it off last weekend so that I could sew it, shampoo it. So we're going to be talking about that also, how to, you know, one way I'll say how you can treat your wigs as far as cleaning them. Some people have wig blocks. I have a bald mannequin that I use if I'm going to place my wig on something. I'm going to be showing you one mannequin with hair. So I braided her hair and applied the wig on that. And then the bald mannequin I have, applying the wig cap on that and applying a wig on that. I actually switched the wigs out though, because there was one wig I wanted to see how it looked. I brought it off of TikTok and I had not put it on my own head yet. And so you'll see in the video, I really didn't like it. So I put it on, but then I didn't keep it on. I switched it out. So the final style is going to be different. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. If you're in school, in your textbook, you'll find the wig chapter and extensions. So it has some vital information. But I'll tell you this, if you're going to be doing wigs on people, consultation is always key. different wigs that you have, whether it's synthetic or human, or if it's a fiber mix, meaning that it's animal hair mixed with human hair. How are you going to cut that? How are you going to style it? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But before I get into the video, I want to thank you guys so much. I finally hit 1,000 subscribers, which I'm happy about that. Every subscriber that I get, I feel so grateful, so thankful that someone is actually learning from me. So if you are learning from these videos, please like, share, and I just want to tell you, God bless you. Thank you so much for your support. So let's get started. All right, so we'll start off with the consultation. First thing you want to find out is why someone is choosing to wear a wig. It could be they just want to have fun and change their hair. Maybe they want to see how they look with a different hair color. Maybe they have an illness and, you know, they want to experience having some hair during their treatment, or it doesn't have to be cancer, it could be alopecia. So finding out the reasons why they want to wear a wig. What is their goal when they wear the wig? Is it going to be something that they're going to be taking off every night, so they want to put it on and off? Is it something that they want to last for the week, for 2 weeks, for a few days? If that's the case, that's when you determine if you're going to use the extension tape around the hairline, if you're going to use any kind of glue around the hairline to keep that lace stayed down. Do you want it to look like the lace front or the full lace where you could pull the hair back? Or are you going to do a pixie cut wig where it's all coming forward, so that way you don't need any glue, you don't need anything but your wig cap? And then in part of the video, I have like a band that you can place on your head that actually helps the wig to grip on. So it would really be up to the person if they want to wear the wig cap or not. But these are all things that you want to consider during a consultation. And then the question is, are you going to be styling your hair every day? Are you going to take the time to do that? Or do you want it pre-styled, which means you'd be using synthetic hair? So there's so many options that you want to take the time to discuss with your client prior to actually doing the service. So always remember this: a good consultation is usually between 15 to 30 minutes. That's just my opinion, to determine exactly what the client wants and making sure that we can do what it is that the client wants, so everybody is happy. So I have different types of wig caps here, and it would be your own choice as to which one. Now, for me personally, I usually use a wig cap, whether it's brown or like a light nude. And then I like to go through with the mesh wig cap. It just keeps everything gripped down, so especially when I'm doing a quick weave. But there's also HD caps. So the HD caps, it actually looks like skin when you're putting it on. Doesn't really have, what does have like a hue to it, but not like a deep color. Like these are not sheer, they're not see-through. Not as much as the HD. HD, when you're doing lace front or full lace wigs, you would see that it looks like the skin, or the scalp, I should say. So I am going to use a regular wig cap for her. And then, oh, and what I did was I braided her hair in 4 braids. They're not anything fancy, just because her hair is longer. So instead of just shoving it in the wig cap, which you could, but it'd be more bulky, then I did the 4 braids. Could do more. People braid in different patterns. Nothing fancy here. So yeah. Okay, now we're going to talk about pros and cons of the different fibers of hair. So, some pros and cons for human hair. One thing about human hair wigs is, as far as pros go, is it's like natural hair. A lot of times you can color it, you can bleach the hair. Although I will say the darker the hair is, if you're looking to really be light on that hair, it's probably better to get a lighter color before you lighten it with the bleach. And then you would deposit a demi or semi-permanent color on top. So if you're wanting vibrant colors, but the truth is you can get vibrant colored extension hair and it's human hair. So you could buy it pre-colored already. But for some people, like I have a coworker who likes to bleach her hair every time she buys it and then she colors it. You have that option with human hair wigs. So it's really up to you what color you're trying to get. I would do a test strand always just to make sure that it's going to come out the way you want it to. Now, and you can style it with anything. I forgot what I was going to say, but you can style it, you can flat iron it, you can curl it. The tricky thing is, and this is just from my experience, if you curl it and you flat iron it every day, it can tend to make the hair become more frizzy and it starts to feel kind of tough, like on the ends. If you curl it every day, if you flat iron it every day, and it can actually make the hair start to get frizzy. So that would be considered a con, aside from the pros that, man, you can roller set it. You can basically do anything with human hair wig. You can cut it with your shears, you can cut it with your razor, and you just treat it like it's natural hair. Human hairs are not always better than synthetic hair, though, especially with the wigs, because I've had some ugly human hair wigs that my synthetic hair wig was actually cuter than the human hair, where it just looked like whoever made that wig, the machine that they used to put it on, they just kind of threw the tracks on there, the wefts on there, and it was just a matted mess. Yeah. So human hair is not always better. It's actually a preference and it depends on the quality of the human hair because it's not always the best just because it's human hair. So the first thing you want to do is remove the wig out of the wig pack. And normally it comes with two wig caps, so that's good because if you tear it the first time, you have a chance to do it again. I'm starting off from the front and pulling it over the head and tucking the braids in, but you could start from the back as well if you wanted to. So it's really your own preference how you want to do it. This is just for demo purposes. Usually I do put it over the front of my head and slip it over the back. Okay, so this is one of my wigs that I really don't wear. And this is called a lace front wig. So if you look underneath, you see that part here. And it did come with bangs. I think I did cut her bangs a little because they were too long. Um, Me personally, I don't like combs in my wigs because it hurts. Unless I want to take it off and I'm not going to keep it on for the week or two, then I will use it to comb under my wig cap. So this comb here, when I place it on, if I want it to stay, then I will push it up under the wig cap. For me, when I've done something like that, it actually scrapes my skin off. So I cut the combs out most of the time, but that's just me. You may want to keep the comb. And if you're going to take it off at night, then I would keep the comb, unless it's scraping your skin. So usually I start in the front and I place it down. And I want to make sure those ears, because you can feel it on the sides where the ear part should be. And then I'm going to take the comb and I can feel it underneath. And it's kind of low down there, but I'm going to press it up under that braid there, under the wig cap. Make sure the ears are where they should be. Doesn't feel like it. So let's see. I'm going to pull that down. Now, because her head is smaller, it's going to be a little lower on her, but usually the ears curve like this underneath. You can feel it. So that's how you know where it should be. And it's some kind of wiring in there too. So it's hard there on the sides, at least with this wig it is. When they're softer though, you'll see it flex like this. It'll flex down, so you know that it goes over following the curve of your ears. So this looks pretty centered. I'm gonna comb that out. Let's see. This was previously curled when I wore it last time, so I'm not going to recurl it this time. Although I could show you guys how you would style it, because you treat it like it's your real hair. You should. And you can use hairspray, you can use, you know, whatever styling products you use. If it's a human hair wig, you treat it like it's your own hair. This is how I do my hair. If I'm wearing a wig, if I'm doing a quick weave, I treat it like it's my real hair. I mean, it's what's on my head, so why wouldn't I treat it like it's my real hair? Most of the time I wear human hair wigs. If it's quick weave, definitely I always use human hair. Most of the time I use human hair wigs when I wear wigs, but I have had synthetic wigs that I kept for a very long time, because some of the synthetic wigs, believe it or not, are actually better than human hair wigs. Now that's hard to believe, but I've had some wigs where you couldn't tell it was synthetic. You could curl it, you could flat iron it. The trick that I use for a synthetic hair is I will mist. If it says that it's able to use heat, you put it down really low, no higher than 200 usually, otherwise it'll do nothing. But I will mist my hair with water, and that's what makes it silky once you put the heat on. So you could curl it or you could flat iron it. A lot of times I'll do my curls with the flat iron and it'll stay. Also, you could do hot rollers. I've been told that that really helps the hair to stay the curls. And then with synthetic wigs, I shampoo them actually like with a Tide laundry detergent with Downy in it. So fabric softener and laundry detergent. And it actually restores whatever curls were in there. So let's say if you bought a synthetic wig that was curled like this already, this is human hair, but I'm just saying if it was curled like that already, then if you use the laundry detergent with the fabric softener in cold water, it actually gives it a shine. It smells really good and it restores the curls. Now that technique I learned from one of my students, but it works. Human hair, I treat it like human hair. I use whatever shampoo I'm using at that time, conditioner, but I always shampoo and condition in cold water. So this is one wig installation. And this, you don't really have to do anything fancy. So I know a lot of videos I'm sure you see where they put the glue and then they do the got to be glued spray and, you know, really blend that wig cap in. Some of them use makeup. This, you don't have to do this. If you're a beginner, this is all you need to do. If you have longer hair, braid it. If your hair is silky and straight, what I do personally is I add a little braiding hair in so that the braids will stay. But again, consultation is very important, guys. You know, you need to find out what your client is looking for. Are they looking to wear this wig for a few days? Is this a one-time occasion and they're going to snatch it off at night? So then you wouldn't necessarily need to put glue. And nowadays they have wigs with drawstrings. So this wing, this wig that I have on right now has a drawstring, so it actually helps it to grip more to my head. And I really didn't have much to do. I did put a little tape under here to make sure that it laid down on that part there, but it actually fit my head pretty good. Now my head's pretty tiny, so like in here in the middle part it was kind of puffing out. So what I had to do last night was actually fold it in and sew it up, and so now it fits my head a lot better. This actually fits her pretty well, and plus the braids actually open up the space so it grips onto her head better. All right, so I'm just showing you a few things as far as your table setup, some things that you may want to use. What I just showed you was actually a grip band that you can put on your head instead of like glue or anything else, and it helps the wig to adhere better. My razor comb, my rat tail comb. So for me, these are just essentials when you're doing a wig. Hair cutting shears, just in case you're going to cut and style the wig, also to cut your wig cap around the ears. Double-sided extension tape, I do use that a lot, especially for my lace closures. Blow dryer to help dry the glue and anything else you need to dry quicker. And then also I have this wonderful glue that I got from Amazon. It's called Sunshine Products, and it's white glue. Um, Extended wear. Sorry, I'm trying to read the small writing. This is the first glue I've ever bought out of all the glues that I tried that actually lasted through my hot flashes, all of that. So if you want to try it, try it. Now, what I did is, or what I'm doing is I'm cutting holes in the ear area, and I'm going to fit that wig cap over the ears. And that's just so when I do cut it, the cap is truly formed to my head. Now, what I have to do is, so at this part, most people use the Got to Be Glued spray, and they'll spray their hairline and they'll use the blow dryer. For me, if I really wanted to stay, and this is why I'm using the glue on her, I would have to use the glue. So this time when I put this wig on that I have on now, I did this method. When I'm doing my quick weaves, I will do the Got to Be Glued spray, and then I do another wig cap over that, because if I just use that one cap, as soon as I have a hot flash or I'm sweating in any way, my quick weave will literally lift off of my head. So then I have to use my double-sided tape to make the hair lay down. So using this method, so far I've tried it twice, and because this glue is so wonderful, and in no way am I sponsored by these people, it's amazing. It stayed. My wig cap has not lifted. Everything has stayed down. So if you really want it to stay, but that's just me because my hair is really short like this mannequin head. So I have to try different methods as opposed to someone who has, hair like the braided wig one. My hair is not like that. So what works for everybody else doesn't always work for me. I'm using the tail of my comb. You could use a spatula, like one of those wooden sticks that we use for waxing. You could use that to spread the glue out. And then I use rubbing alcohol to remove like the residue of the glue off my comb. If it gets on my skin or on my fingers, I use rubbing alcohol to remove that. So once you get the glue spread on, Then you're going to blow dry the glue until it dries clear. I have to be honest, when it's just me by myself, I do use the blow dryer at first, and then I just kind of walk away and do whatever else I'm doing and let it air dry, but it does not take long to dry. So once I feel like it's clear, it may still be a little tacky, but it's dry enough. So then I'm going to cut the excess wig cap off, and it should be able to stay now. So literally it should fit your head like a glove, put it that way, cutting off the extra wig cap. So I usually start around the ears, and you carefully cut around the hairline. Now, if this person has hair, well, their hair should be braided back, but just be careful cutting around that hairline, making sure that you're not cutting any of your client's hair. Hopefully, if you braided it and they have little frizzies, you used it, some type of gel or pomade or styling aid to help lay that hair down, so you're not cutting any of your client's real hair. Now, what I'm going to show you guys on this also, because I told you I would, I'm going to show you one side with the extension tape on it, because I do use a double-sided extension tape to fix my lace, whether it's lace closures or lace wig. I will put the extension tape. I like that better than the glue, honestly, because you have to wait for it to be completely clear. Otherwise, that white residue will pop up through the lace. And it takes a while, and it's hard to get rid of, even with rubbing alcohol. So I forgot the name of this double-sided tape, but I get it from Amazon, and it lasts me for a long time. So I've been using these double-sided extension tapes I have been using for a good 5 years or so now, because anything that endures my hot flashes, it's a thumbs up for me. So this is the wig that I brought from TikTok that I was not happy with. I actually threw it out after I used it for this video. I just didn't like the way it was difficult for me to kind of style it, and I just know myself. I'm like, no, I won't be wearing this. So, and then I had messed up cutting on the tape, the lace also. So it wouldn't work out for me. So you can see that it's a lace front wig, meaning that the lace is only in the front part, which could be the middle down to the ears. There's a band there that's supposed to help the wig to stay on tighter. So double-sided tape usually is sealed down on both sides. So you decide which side you want to try to peel off. I usually peel the ones where it's split in half. I'll peel those off first and lay that down partially on the skin and partially on the wig cap. And then I will use the white part to peel off to make the tape lay flat onto the skin. Sometimes I will use tape in the nape, especially if I remove the comb, because there's nothing to anchor it down in the back. So I will place tape in my nape area and actually lay the back of the wig on the tape. And it usually stays good that way. What I like now with the drawstring wigs is that the drawstrings tighten the wig up, so you, depending on the size of your head, you possibly don't have to do that. And now the truth is, if I was using the glue all the way around, I may or may not need to use tape in the back, but sometimes I do. And then I use alcohol to get the residue off my skin. Rubbing alcohol works wonders, you'd be surprised. Okay, so I put glue on the other side just for demo purposes to show you. One side has the double-sided extension tape, the other side has the glue. So kind of like a comparison, so you could, you would use your own preference. For me, it's been the double-sided tape for years. I'm just now finding a glue that I actually like, so I kind of play around with them both. Sometimes if I put the tape on too far back, I may take a little bit of my glue and put a little more on my skin and lay the lace down on that. So I actually have both going on at the same time. And it works out. It works out. So remember, you dry the glue until it's clear. I didn't wait on this one here. Started off applying the wig from the back up to the front. And what I do is I kind of stretch the lace to make sure that it's, how do I say it? Fitted completely to the head. Now, remember, the mannequin heads are smaller, so I had to do a little bit more pulling, and it didn't necessarily lay down the way I wanted to. Plus, I messed up on how I cut the lace, so that didn't help. So what I'm doing is I'm using my fingers to really stick the lace on to the tape and to the glue. You could use your rat tail comb. I do that on myself. You could use something to help really lay that down, and then I'll use the blow dryer too to heat it up to make it lay down a little more. So if you see, I had to cut the lace a little more because I don't know what happened, but it was like I hacked into it. So usually I pre-cut or buy wigs with pre-cut lace, so I don't have to worry about cutting it. But if I do cut my own lace, because I use lace closures for my quick weaves, I usually cut it prior to putting it on my head. It's just something about having it glued down and putting those shears right up to it. I've never tried it that way. I mean, you do what works out for you, and this is what works out for me. But then you have instances like this where you possibly could hack the lace up. And a lot of people don't use shears, they use the eyebrow razors. I have not tried that, but that's an option. If you don't want to use the shears, if you don't want to risk putting the blades up on your client's head, that could be a better way. But either way, when you're cutting on someone's skin close to it, you just have to be careful. So some people do use the razor, and it seems to work out really well. I've just, used my shears, but I'm not going to say that's the wrong way to use a razor. I'm going to say that everyone has their own way, and you have to find what works for you. So I'm using the blow dryer in the hopes that I'm helping the hair to adhere down to the glue and down to the tape. But as you can see, her hair did not come pre-styled. And that part, because it was already set there, was very hard to get out. And because the mannequin head is smaller, the wig, of course, sits lower. So I had to pull a little harder to get that lace to adhere and fit snug to her head. But this is the final So you could see on either side. You could see a little white from the glue where it didn't dry clear. And that's what I'm talking about. You may still have some residue on that. So now if I wanted to get rid of that part, I could use a pressing comb to press that out, or I could wet her hair with water and then blow dry it and force it to part over how I want it to part. So what are your thoughts? Let me know. All right, so I kind of discussed the cons along with the pros for human hair, but really the only cons that I know of is when you over use heating tools on the hair, it can make it frizzy. Also, sometimes, from my experience, is the quality of the human hair. Um, Under here in the nape area, it can tend to get matted. So to me, that's a con. I like hair that stays where the cuticles stay closed and the hair stays silky. So no matter how I move, because my neck's small, so a lot of times the hair back here will have friction against my clothes, rubbing against my clothes. So then I have to detangle underneath. I think that's a con for me. A lot of times with synthetic hair, you don't have that, especially the newer synthetic hair wigs. I really don't have that where it's tangling underneath like that. It's more with the human hair. Also, it gets fried. It can if you're using heating tools every day. If it rains, sometimes it can get frizzy, and it depends on what kind of human hair you're getting. And that's the tricky thing when you're ordering online. It can get a smell to it that smells awful, especially if you flat ironed it or curled it and then it gets wet from the rain or from fog, anything that's humid, and it can get a horrible smell. So those are a few cons that you have, but most of the time for me, I use human hair. Is there anything else I want to tell you guys? Nope, that's it. Okay, so this is the other wig that I put on the mannequin where I had the red wig on, and I'm just styling it like how you would style your own hair. So I'm going through pulling the drawstring on her. I didn't go through a whole process of reapplying glue or, I left the tape on there, so I just kind of restuck it on there just for demo purposes to show you guys that you can style the hair however you want to. You can curl it, you can roller set it. I actually really like this hair. And these wigs, by the way, are from, I don't know how you say it, if it's Unice or Eunice, Unice. And I'm going to tell you so far, their wigs I'm very happy with. They are the best quality hair that I've gotten so far. Um, yeah, because if you watch my videos, different wigs that I've tried, their hair bundles and their wigs I absolutely love. So I put like rhinestones in my hair, pin it back with sparkly bobby pins, use sparkly headbands, just be creative. So now with this one, I told you guys she was already curled, but since I told you I would demonstrate curling it again, and I didn't get my curling iron, although I had it sitting out, but I decided to be lazy this time. Sorry. And I used my flat iron just to kind of refresh over some of the curls, straighten the bangs out, just to show you guys that you can work with it like it's your own hair. Sometimes when people, especially beginners, when you're wearing a wig, you don't really know what to do. So just letting you know, you would treat it like it's your own hair. Why not? It's on your head. So, and it is human hair. Synthetic hair, maybe I should have showed you guys, but I don't have any synthetic wigs right now. Before I forget, another tip I wanted to let you guys know too, in care of this, if you sleep with your wigs on, you want to have some type of silky scarf. A lot of younger people nowadays use the bonnets. I have my own method that I use for nightly care. I have my silky scarf, and then I wear a hat over that. But I do have bonnets as well. I've gotten free bonnets from wigs that I ordered. But just so you know, if you want to preserve the style of your hair and you want to have less frizz, get a silky bonnet, get a satin scarf, something of a silky material to help preserve your style. So I want you guys to interact with me. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if this video helped you in any way, have some further knowledge about wigs. All right, next is pros of using synthetic hair. One pro, the top pro, is that it can be cheaper. But I will say this, the more recent synthetic wigs that I've seen, it can get a little pricey, especially if it's lace front, which most of the time those where I got from the beauty supply, but this was years ago, it started off at like 55, maybe like almost 60 bucks. But you can get $25 wigs, synthetic hair, but then you have to make sure, usually when they're that cheap, they're not where you can treat it with heat. You can't flat iron, you can't curl it, it'll melt the hair right off. Then you have to make sure it's not that shiny plastic looking hair. I don't really see synthetic wigs like that unless you're going to the costume store. So like around Halloween time, they have the shiny wigs, but they're really cheap. Those are synthetic wigs. You cannot style them. You can cut them, but they'll look horrible. Um, so with those, you really can't do too much with them, but they come in different colors. So that's a pro. The color doesn't fade. That's a pro. Even with the lace front, or I don't think there's full lace synthetic. It might be full lace synthetic wigs, but the pros in those is if they're heat able to, if you're able to use heat on those, you can use like curling irons on low heat. You would use your flat irons like at least at 200. This is just from experience. If it's any higher than that, it really does nothing. But for me, the trick that I do is I mist the hair with water and then I flat iron it or I curl it and it sets it in and it gives that hair shine and not like an unnatural shine. The synthetic wigs that I've had, you can't even tell that it's synthetic hair. But sometimes, like after, if you over treat it, it can get tough on the ends and that hair starts to shed out. So you have to kind of cut that off. So I have had that, and that's when it starts looking fake. What else did I want to tell you guys? The way you can treat synthetic hair. You can use hot rollers on it. You can set them. So back in the day, we used to set perm rods and then like sit it in a dryer. So you would mist the hair, get it wet, roll it. You can dip them in really hot water. That sets curls in. Now, what else did I want to tell you guys about synthetic wigs? Hold on, let's see. Give me just a second, you guys. They have more permanent styles. So if you are, say if you're the get up and go type and you really don't want to take the time to style it, it's already set in there. Most likely it's not going to fall out or change in any way. I think I said limitless colors. The colors don't fade. Cheaper price, although they can get pricey. So as far as the cons go, like I said, you can't expose it to high heat or it'll melt that hair right off. And then the second thing is you really can't restyle, like that style is set in there. Some of them can look unnatural. Well, of course, when you go to the costume store, they're very shiny plastic looking. Let's see what else. I think that's it. The hair can melt off if the heat is too high. The hair won't curl if the curling iron is too high. And then, like I said, the con, if you curl it too much, the ends can like really get frayed, like different from human hair. And you actually have to cut that off. Otherwise, it'll just look like it was burned at the ends. So that's one con for synthetic hair. Um, but if you treat them right and you shampoo them right, it'll last. It can last, especially the lace front ones, I'll say. All right, the last one is pros and cons of animal fiber hair. You know what's crazy is years ago, so I've been wearing extensions for years, like over 20 something years. And I used to buy yaki hair. And I always thought that it was human hair. I just thought it meant that it was thicker hair. But no, it's actually yak hair. They shave off the belly hairs, which is white hair. They dye it and then they mix it in with human hair. So it's a human hair blend. Now you can buy extension hair starting off if it's a human hair mix. From what I've seen in the beauty supplies I've gone to, starting off at $10.99 and then it goes up. As far as wigs go, mixed hair, I don't think I've used mixed hair. But if I have, maybe that's why when it got wet it had that weird smell to it. That could be why. So the pros is it can come in different colors. The hair is fuller because usually the human hair tracks are thinner, finer, more silky. But when it's mixed, and yaki hair is the most that's in demand. You have Angora hair, which I have to look that up what Angora is. Alpaca, which I didn't know about that. Now I've seen somewhere too horsehair. The pros is it's multicolored, it's natural, it's you can treat it like human hair. So you could flat iron it, you could curl it, you can cut it, and it will fall like human hair. The one con about these fibers is that it's not a standalone fiber. It has to be mixed with human hair in order for it to be effective. So if you just made an alpaca wig, you probably wouldn't be able to flat iron it or do any of the stuff you would with human hair. So it has to be mixed. Let's see. I think that's about it for animal fiber hair. As long as you mix it, it blends well with human hair, and it says synthetic hair also. So that's a pro of using animal fiber, and it's cheaper. Now that I can tell you off the top of my head, it is cheaper. Because I remember when I first started wearing extensions and they would have the Remy hair, which was more expensive, and I would buy Yaki hair, which was cheaper and it was fuller. So then I didn't have to worry about doubling up on the tracks for the human hair. So I think that's all the information I have for you guys regarding that. If you look into the textbook, it gets into the cap wigs and the capless wigs, which I always wondered what the difference was because looking at it, it looks like there's still a cap in the capless wigs. And it is. It's just the tracks or the weft on the hair is thinner. So that's the difference between cap and capless wigs. Cap wigs, the wefts are thicker. And that's all the information I have for you guys right now. Get in here, you wild buck.